Greetings, friends. I hope you're fine and are doing well. I'm doing great. Now let's get on with it, shall we? So in this lesson, in this video, I will be giving you a tutorial on how to play bar chords. So bar chords are a little challenging to learn, but they are worth it. They have a unique and rich sound which you want in your playing vocabulary, right? So they are quite painful on your fretting hand when you begin, but there's a couple of things that you can do to reduce the pain. So now to reduce the pain. So now I'm going to demonstrate what we call major and minor bar chords, right? So this is what I mean by bar chords, right? So let me get this out of the way. So this is what I mean by bar chords. So bar chords, so if I play this chord like this, which I suppose you already know, an ordinary G chord, we call this one an open chord because so there's these three strings, right? So the G string okay, it's actually two, it's not three. Okay, it's three. So there's this G string, the D string, the G string, and the B string are played open. You see, so there's no fretting. I'm not pressing them anywhere, right? So when I play it like this is called an open G chord. But if I put my pointer finger across the whole third fret like this and play all of these strings, we call it a bar. It's like you've barred them, right? So like B-A-R-R-E, right? B-A-R-R-E, right? So basically it's like you're taking the nut and kind of like shifting it. You see look at what happens when you kind of like do this. Can you hear the pitch changing? Right? So it's like you're shortening the guitar, right? So you're barring the whole fret, right? So I'm gonna, like, for instance, so now I'll demonstrate with in fact, let me demonstrate with the F bar chord, right? So this is one of the most difficult chords that a beginning guitar student kind of like struggles with. I remember I used to struggle with it a lot. I still don't play it a lot, but we're gonna do it, because it's very useful as it forms part of the key of C, right? So what you do is you take your finger, or your pointer finger, the first finger. So what you do is you take the first finger and you place it across the first fret like this, and then you play all of these strings and make sure they ring, right? It takes a whole lot of strength and power. So usually sometimes I see people doing this, kind of like putting the middle finger, the second finger on the first finger to increase the strength, right? So what you do is you bar the first fret, and then you take your second finger and you place it on the second fret of the G string, and then you take your pinky finger and you place it on the third fret of the D string, and then you take your third finger and you place it on the A string in the third fret, right? And then you play all of these strings, right? And another thing about this, so this is called a major chord, right? So it's a major chord, and it's also movable at the same time. So you can just move it. So if you move it like this, it's called an F sharp, right? And then you move it forward, it becomes a G. You move it forward, it becomes a G sharp. You move it further forward, it becomes an A, right? So another important thing about this whole thing that you need to notice, right? So don't just kind of like stretch your fingers out like this and try to play this bar chord. It's gonna really hurt you, like in your palm, right? So what you need to do is to make sure that your pointer finger, the first finger, is almost on top of the fretting wire, right? So don't just place it in the middle, just bring it very close and kind of like play like that. And also, make sure all of it, like this whole portion, covers, kind of like cross it, tilt it to the inside, right? And sort of like hold like this. And maybe it's like as you're growing with your experience, right? So what happens is you actually don't have to bar necessarily all these other strings because you're already holding them here. So you can kind of like just hold here at the top there, and you can decide if you want to play that string up there or not, right? So that sort of thing. So keep practicing it, give it enough time. It's gonna take a while to get a hang of them. I remember it took me some time, but you know, you can do it. And then the next thing that I want to teach you is a minor bar chord, right? So remember I told you the major chords are the ones which sound a little bright. But if I remove my middle finger, if I remove my middle finger, which is number 2, and I play the same stuff, you hear what happens. So that's a minor chord. So that's an F minor, right? Also, basically what you do is you take your first finger, you place it across the fret, and then you take your pinky finger and you place it on the D string on the 3rd fret, and then you place your 3rd finger on the A string in the 3rd fret as well, and then you just strum across the whole fretboard. And it's also movable, so which means you can move it across the strings, right? And so these chords that I just taught you now were based on, their root was based on the low E string, right? So you also need to learn bar chords that are placed on the that are rooted on the A string, right? So this is how they go. So what you do is, so you still bar across the whole fret, and then for this one, so I'm going to be teaching you a B major, right? So what you do is you take your pointer finger and you place it across the 1st fret, and then you take your 3rd finger or your ring finger or your pinky. You can decide which one you want to use. But I think I recommend the ring finger, although I use the pinky finger, but I recommend this one. I just can't. It's a bad habit. So I think it's a bad habit. I feel like people who hold it with the ring finger do it better than I do. So you take your 1st finger and you cross it. You place it across all of these strings in the 1st fret, and then you take your ring finger and you place it across the G, the A, the G, and the B strings, right? And you play it, right? Listen to this. Then you can also move it across. So now this is a B flat. It's not a B flat. This is a B. So this was a B flat major. This is a B chord, B major chord, and then this is a C major, C sharp major, and D major, right? And you can just play it coming all the way down, right? So and another thing that you need to notice is the fact that when I'm playing it like this, so you can also just kind of like lift your pointer finger over across the strings instead of like trying to apply pressure there and apply pressure over here. It sort of like won't work. So just keep it, just press this note up here on the A string, in the 1st fret, and then do this, right? So now I'm going to teach you the minor version of this. So each and every one of these has a major and a minor version. And usually it's either you just remove a finger or you place a finger, an additional finger, but you usually kind of like remove it. So for you to play the minor version of this, so the B flat minor, you're going to have to, so you bar, or you just press the A string in the 1st fret up there, and then your middle finger, your 2nd finger presses the B in the 2nd fret, and then your pinky finger presses the G presses the G on the 3rd fret, and then the middle the 3rd finger presses the D in the 3rd fret, right? And then did you get it? So this is the major, and then this is the minor. All right, so you can always repeat this thing so you can hear what I'm saying, and you can also move it. Very nice sounding. across the fretboard. Of course, when you go up, it stops sounding nicer, so you kind of like have to find a way to remain in the middle at all times. So one other thing that I want you to notice as I do this is the fact that whenever I'm playing these type of like chords, especially when they're rooted on the A string, is that I sort of like insert my 3 fingers or 2 of them. It just depends. I don't know how my mind decides on the below the high E string, so as to mute it. So if I do this, you realize it's not making a sound. So yeah, it's usually nicer this way instead of kind of like playing it open. Although you can play it open, but it sounds a whole lot better when you play it. So what happens is when you play this note, you're repeating the note that you're playing here with your 3rd finger, right? So the 5th. See, sounds the same. So you don't have to play that one. You can just do that. And so that's it with the bar chords. Practice them daily. Practice them for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Take 5 minutes practicing these ones on the low E string, these ones rooted on the low E string, and then also practice these ones rooted on the A string, and practice them in both major, minor, right? That's basically so yeah, that's basically the deal with bar chords. And there's like many other versions of bar chords that you're gonna learn as you go along in the journey, but I think for now that's enough, and it's gonna do and work wonders for you. See you later. So that's it for this lesson, my friends. I'll see you in the next lesson. Take care.